And we keep things rolling on a very busy edition of the Sports Cubicle and Sports from the Couch here on WCPT 820 AM, Heartland Signal, WSBC 1240 AM, Chicago. I'm your host, Mike Mercado, with the marvelous one, Dan Marver. If you want to see the video version of the show, make sure you're visiting us over at YouTube at the Sports Cubicle. And this is something that has been on all my social media feeds, and I thought it was just because the computers were once again listening to some of the conversations we were having off mic. But after doing a little bit of research, it seems like this is something that's going to go all steam ahead. Everybody will be on board because it looks like we might have some realignment, some total shift in Major League Baseball. This comes to us from Forbes as the article goes, as Manfred touts geographical realignment with MLB expansions, hear how it could look. This is by Maury Brown. MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred has said that when the league expands to 32 teams, regional realignment would occur. Here's why the league is moving in that direction and how it might look. Manfred was recently interviewed during ESPN's broadcast of the Little League Classic from Williamsport. In an extended interview about the state of the league, he was asked about Major League Baseball expansion. He hinted it would be on the horizon along with revamping the league's division format. Quote, I think if we expanded, it provides us with an opportunity to geographically realign, Manfred said. I think we could save a lot of wear and tear on our players in terms of travel. I think our postseason format would be even more appealing for entities like ESPN because you'd be playing out of the East, out of the West, and that 10 o'clock where we sometimes get Boston, Anaheim, would be two West Coast teams. That 10 o'clock slot, that's a problem for us sometimes, becomes a real opportunity for our West Coast audience. Manfred has been touting expansion and realignment for a decade now. Quote, from a technical perspective, it will be easier to divide the schedule up by 4, Manfred said at the time. Having 5 teams in the division is problematic from a scheduling perspective. So why geographic realignment with MLB expansion? Manfred said Sunday that the league could save a lot of wear and tear on our players in terms of travel. And that's absolutely true. The other factor not mentioned is the reduced cost to owners with travel minimized. So the players would reduce fatigue and the owners would spend less on air travel. So why don't we actually take a look at what the realignment will look like? Here's one conceptual outline of what 8 divisions of 4 could look like with the expansion. In the Northwest Division, you would have the Mariners, the Giants, the expansion team in Salt Lake City, and the Rockies. In the West Division, you would have the Dodgers, the Angels, the Diamondbacks, and the Padres. In the South Division, you would have the Rangers, the Astros, the Royals, and the A's. In the Southeast Division, it would be the Rays, the Marlins, the Braves, and the Nationals. In the East Division, it'd be Yankees, Mets, Phillies, Red Sox. In the Midwest Division, number 1, it would be Tigers, Cubs, Twins, Nashville. In the Midwest Division, number 2, it would be Pirates, Guardians, White Sox, Reds. And in the Midwest Division, number 3, Cardinals, Brewers, Blue Jays, and Orioles. You can check out the entire article at Forbes as Manfred touts geographic realignment with MLB expansions. Here is how it could look. And we've even seen some projections that have the White Sox and the Cubs in the same division, the Yankees and the Mets in the same division, Dodgers, Angels, and so on and so forth, getting the geographic rivalries put together. I think, Marver, this is something, as the days have gone on, that the speculation and the rumors, I think it's something that is just going to happen. I do think that the one traditional thing they will keep is American League and National League. But I think other than that, I do believe they're also going to go to a 16-team realignment playoffs. I don't think it's just going to be the American League versus the National League. I think it's going to be done by seeding. So there's a lot of changes coming to baseball, especially after the CBA in just a few years. Hearing what the commissioner himself has said, hearing all the rumor mill, seeing where there's smoke, there's fire, what do you think about this prospect in baseball?
Yuck. Nashville and Salt Lake City. Hope Salt Lake City is going to have a dome. And as Nashville, I would say if you're going to pick a team, you might want to pick a nice large city that supports baseball like Montreal. But be that as it may, the alignment there, how they could save a lot of wear and tear and travel, get rid of the universal interleague play. I mean, I know that it's great that the team, in Miami, they get to see that's Seattle every other year, but whatever. I don't like that anymore because, first of all, they might as well get rid of the records with the National and the American League anyway. Eugenio Suarez, I mean, what league is he in? What home run leader is he at? They might as well just make it one since they have so much interleague play. Now, the other thing is Brewers and Cardinals not in the same division as the Cubs. I mean, seriously, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. That they'd be with the Orioles and the Blue Jays. I mean, that's not even Midwest. So the alignment sounds funky to me. And also, I mean, I'd like two worthy candidates to be added. I mean, Nashville and Salt Lake City don't thrill me. I mean, even Buffalo would be better, probably. I don't know. But so the idea is interesting. It would be more like NFL setup in a way, with the 4-team divisions and such. So, that's probably something that's going to happen at some point. And so, right now, for example, the American League home run leader. I mean, you won't have that anymore. I guess you'll have to chase Barry Bonds instead of Aaron Judge. So the records are, like I say, are all messed up anyway because of the interleague play and the lack of divisional play, which has come down almost in half due to the interleague play. So, I'm a traditionalist. I'd like to see more interleague play, more interdivision play. I'm sorry, and adding more teams dilutes the talent even more. And I'm not sure how they would really set up the divisions, but the lineup that you stated doesn't thrill me.
So Marver, let me throw this one at you because this one then comes from the MLB on Fox social media accounts, okay? So this is just another one. And again, this is why it's so fascinating because there's so many ways this can go. So they have it this way. In the NL Midwest, it would be the Cubs, White Sox, Cardinals, and Reds. In the NL Central, it would be the Rockies, the Royals, the Rangers, and the Astros. In the NL Southwest, it would be the Dodgers, the Padres, the Angels, and the Diamondbacks. And in the NL Northwest, it would be the Mariners, the A's, the Giants, and a Portland team. In the AL Northeast, it would be the Yankees, Mets, Red Sox, Phillies. In the AL Mid-Atlantic, it would be the Orioles, the Nationals, the Pirates, and the Guardians. In the AL Great Lakes, it would be the Twins, the Tigers, the Brewers, and the Blue Jays. And in the AL Southeast, it would be the Braves, the Marlins, the Rays, and a Charlotte team. Does that do anything for your fancy?
Oh, I like that Great Lakes.
I knew that one would pop you. I knew that one would get you.
They could go on a boat between cities. That would be nice. I don't know. Like I say, I of course can conjure up images of a World Series with the American League playing the National League, and there being 8 teams and nobody. I mean, I'm not going to tell you that I remember no teams being west of the Mississippi except for St. Louis. But there was a time where that was true. But times change, things move on. This is, Manfred is obviously has some say in what goes on. So I would assume that he's not just blowing smoke out of his, what. So, it's an interesting topic for conversation, but in terms of the historical records and record keeping, it blows that all to smithereens, and that's one of the sort of staples of baseball historically. I mean, Babe Ruth 60-yard home run, Roger Maris, and whatnot. So a lot of that would go by the board, and I don't know how they would handle that because they'd obviously have to have just one set of statistics, but set up much like the NBA or whatever. It feels like the NFL, NBA. That's the way they've all gone with the smaller divisions, and when they get to 30 or 32, that's what they've been doing. So, would there be more interdivision play? I don't know. Are they now going to play all other 31 teams every year? That would be another question I'd have, which would dilute the divisional rivalries even more. But you got to have the Cardinals and the Brewers with the Cubs. I don't care if they're even with the White Sox. Honestly, I think that you got to keep the traditional rivalries, even the Reds. I mean, honestly. So over all the years, I mean, it's just something you have to do, and the White Sox should be playing, the Tigers, a lot, and the Royals still. So we'll see how it shakes out. But the idea is interesting conversation. But first, I want to have two worthy candidates to add, and the ones that have been named, Charlotte, maybe Portland. I mean, I don't know what kind of facilities they have. I mean, do they have any parks with 30,000 seats even? Probably no at this point. Even Salt Lake City, and for that matter. So Nashville, probably not.
And then Charlotte, we know how they're at kind of a hub, especially here locally. We know how much Charlotte is associated with the White Sox up here. But I think you bring up, Marver, as we kind of wrap up this topic, and this is something that we're going to talk about as the years go on, as we get through the lockout and the CBA negotiations. There's a few things, right? Like, we also know here locally, it wasn't long ago where the Brewers weren't in the same division as the Cubs and the Astros were. This happens a lot, especially with expansion. What I'm with you the most on is, if you're going to expand and realign, then you have to at least have a plan in mind, because it's already hard for you to sell 16,000 combined between two teams in Florida with Tampa Bay and Miami. You had to leave one of the marquee teams in the 80s, and the A's have to relocate to Vegas. So it's not like baseball is at a strong point right now, like let's say the National Football League is currently, where teams are kind of steadfast at where they're at and they have their stadiums and they're ready to go. So I think that's another interesting point you bring up. But I think, lastly, this is not only just a money deal. This is not just a deal that helps the owners with airfare or helps players wear and tear. We've seen how much money these media deals are. And a lot of it is being able to fill time slots, especially with all these new apps that are coming from Fox 1, ESPN, you name it, a new app is coming. And you're going to get your live sports that way. So they want to be able to sell the 10 o'clock game, the West Coast game, to those fan bases, just like the NBA is doing with their Peacock schedule and with some of their primetime games. So we're seeing it's not just about the same old stuff that we've always been talking about over the years. Now it's about filling quotas and doing good to these media companies that have signed them to these big-time deals. But obviously there's a lot of love for Major League Baseball here on the Sports Cubicle, Sports from the Couch, from Paul and Devin, Marver, and myself. But this is an ever-changing sport, and they're trying to keep up with the NFL, NBA, and international soccer. And I think this is one of the ways that they're trying to do that. And it's going to be something that we're going to be covering for a long time. But Marver, you're on location. You got a busy afternoon. We appreciate you joining us on this edition for this subject as we try to make sense of what could be a very new look in Major League Baseball. Any final thoughts, buddy?
No, obviously things change. Time marches on, but I don't want the fabric of the game to be completely obliterated, and that there's a little bit of that in this situation, in my view.
It's a slippery slope in a lot of different things, in a lot of sports and entertainment, when it comes to trying to keep up with what's going on in today's modern world. So hopefully baseball keeps its spirit while adapting to be able to play for the next 100, 200 years. But we'll be covering here on the Sports Cubicle, Sports from the Couch, on WCPT 820 AM, HeartlandSignal.com, WSBC 1240 AM, Chicago, and on YouTube at the Sports Cubicle. He's the marvelous one, Dan Marver. I'm Mike Mercado. Stay tuned to us here on the Sports Cubicle.